Hello, Internet. Hi. Hi there. How are you? So, as you can tell from the title, I have now the Make Noise MultiMod. You can't see it in the crappy camera with the top-down angle, as I'm using a camera from the early 2000s. That's how I roll. But eventually, I'll be getting a new camera once I stop buying all this freaking modular gear. Once Make Noise stops putting out so much cool gear. And speaking of that, you know, some of the ideas that I had when I was starting on this modular journey was that it would be really, really super cool to have a modular case or a system that was more or less designed around audio processing, and maybe not necessarily audio generation or signal generation, oscillators, filters, stuff like that, but maybe the network of delays, some kind of effects, reverbs, maybe a sampler, something like that, stuff to control that stuff. I really had no idea. You know, you don't really know what you're going to do when you kind of get into modular. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know you. At least for me, it's been a journey, an exploration. And early on in that journey exploration, if you want to peruse my modular grid, which there is a link in the description of most of the live videos, all of them, I believe, to the modular grid, you can check out the progression of my modular cases, as there have been at least 2 times that I recall that I just decided this is too much. This the whole thing seems a little bit esoteric and not conducive to making music. But as you can see from the live section of my YouTube channel in particular, that is not the case. The case, in fact, is that quite the opposite is true. That the freedom involved in having something like this, the sonic explorations that are seemingly endless with the way that you can be creative in your patching and knob twisting, and the way that the modular guides you and you guide it is very, very unique to the experience, I would say. And Make Noise, at first I really didn't understand what the heck was going on with Make Noise in the earliest iteration of my modular journey. But now that I'm probably close to 10 years into the modular rabbit hole, I think that I get what they're doing the most. Them and Moog the most. Some of the newer Make Noise modules, specifically the Spectrophone and MultiMod, really, as soon as I heard them, some of the first videos that I saw, in fact, the first video I saw of the Spectrophone, I immediately said, this is going to go in my case. I hope this is not just a pipe dream, a la the Control Cell series. If you know, you know. But now, here we are, today, in this day, current year of our Lord. And right now, I'm just going to fade up the sample that I have going from the Morphogene into the MultiMod. I have multed it so that we can hear a dry version of the sample, and then whatever the MultiMod is doing to it. For this patch exploration, I'm going to be using the MultiMod as an audio processor only. I've got some modulation coming from the Spectrophone's modulation section. Everything's being clocked with Tempi. Tempi is also new. I'm just kind of wrapping my brain around that sucker. And we've got Channel Saver attenuating some stuff and morphing some stuff. We've got some modulation that I'll bring in with QPOS, and some modulation that I'll bring in with Mimeophone. All that's being routed to the MultiMod. I'm using all 8 outputs of the MultiMod. It took me a little bit to figure out how to get that routed, but as you can see, I'm using the Dopifer mixer A138S over here to get an additional 4 channels. I've got 4 channels going to that Dope mixer, like I said. Channels 1, 2, 5, and 6, the ones that are closest to it. And 3, 4, 7, and 8 are going to the A and B input of channels 1 and 2 of the X-Pan, respectively. That's being modulated with attenuverted versions of the modulation coming from the Spectrophone. Multed copies are going to the Morph. The sum output of Morph is going to the radiate input of QPOS. The inverted sum is going to the frequency control of QPOS. The Mimeophone is being clocked by Tempi. As I said, everything's being clocked by Tempi there, and I have some additional modulation from the sum output that I will be multing into the mix of the Mimeophone, just so we can get some ambience kind of automated with the radiate control. But I'll be fading all that up, as it were. For now, let's just listen to the dry sample.
With a crayon box. Now you may get the 8-pack, you may get the 16-pack, but it's all in what you do with the crayons,
from one
the
of my
colors
favorite movies of all time,
and
Waking
don't worry
Life.
about drawing within the lines or coloring outside the lines. I say color outside the lines, you know what I mean? Color right off the page. Don't box me in. We're in motion to the ocean. We are not landlocked, I'll tell you that. So where do you want out? You want to keep things on an even keel, I guess is what I'm saying. You want to go with the flow. The sea refuses no river. The idea is to remain in a state of constant departure while always arriving. It saves on introductions and goodbyes. The ride does not require an explanation. Just
for now, we have the phase all the way down, which keeps everything in
It's
phase.
like you come onto this planet with a crayon box. Now you may get the 8-pack to remain, and you may get the 16-pack to come in. But it's all like you said on duo with the crayon about colors. Now you may get don't worry about to remain in our lines, you know that coloring outside the lines. I say color outside the lines. It's like you say on color right off the page. We don't box colors. We're in motion to the ocean. We are not to remain in our. I'll tell you that. Coloring outside the lines. I say coloring out. It's like you say on
it seems to be one of the most esoteric modules that Noise has made.
The idea is to remain in a state of constant departure on an even keel.
/ delay / lo-fi bit reducer. There's some mode that I flipped to while I was messing around that seemed like some kind of weird bit crusher. Maybe I did something wrong, I don't know.
You may get the 16-pack. You guys come in. But it's all in where you
jeez,
with the crayon.
Just fade down the dry segment and start to manipulate very slightly, I might add, the spread and time controls. It doesn't take much with this to really start getting things weird.
On an even keel, I guess is what I'm saying.
So here's the dry signal being faded down. We're just going to listen to what the MultiMod is doing to process the signal.
You want to keep things on an each. Don't with the box. The flow. The sea refuses no. I'll tell you, sir. Come in. Is to remain in a state of constant departure. Things on an each. Don't with the box. Saves on introductions and goodbyes.
Uses no. I'll tell you, sir. The mix is turned all the way down.
Just occupants.
The delay that you're hearing is just coming from the MultiMod.
It's like you come onto this planet. Uses no. I'll tell you, sir. Now you may get the 8-pack. You may get to depart things on an each, but it's all in what you do. Planet buys uses no. We're in. Worry about drop. You make it. We are not. The lines. You know what I mean? You do. Planet.
Just changing the time on Tempi. How everything's being.
Don't worry about drop. You make it. You want to keep things on an even keel. The lines. You know what I mean? You do. Planet. Flow. The sea refuses no. Don't worry about drop. You make it is to remain in a state of even keel. The lines. You know what I mean? You do. Always arriving. Saves on infuses no.
Let's see, we've
don't worry about drop. The ride does not require a state of even keel. The lines. You know what I mean? That's where you guys come in. Save on infuse. It's like you, but it's all in what you do. Crayon box. Colors that you're given. And don't worry about drawing within the lines or coloring outside the lines. I say color outside the lines, you know what I mean? Color right off the page. Don't box me in. We're in motion to the ocean. We are not landlocked, I'll tell you that. So where do you want out? You want to keep things on an even keel, I guess is what I'm saying. You want to go
so
with the
without
flow.
the
sea
whole control
refuses
being
no
manipulated,
river.
this and
The idea is to remain in a
spread,
state of constant
time, dead center,
departure
and the phase
while
in the
always
middle.
arriving.
This is pretty
Saves
much
on
just like a
introductions and
lo-fi
goodbyes.
mode.
The ride
feels
does not
like
require an
red
explanation,
mode.
just occupants.
So
That's where you guys come
turn
in.
the spread control
It's like you come onto
counterclockwise.
this planet with a crayon box. Now you may get the 8-pack, you may get the 16-pack,
And I'll turn the time control
but it's all in
clockwise.
what you do with the crayons, the colors that you're given. Don't worry about drawing within the lines or
And I'll turn
coloring.
the phase up just slightly.
So where do you want out? So where do you want out? That's what I'm saying. You want to go with the flow. See, no river. The idea is to remain in a state of
Again, this is no delay processing, no pitch shifting. The only thing that's processing this is the MultiMod. There's no modulation happening in the morphogene, no modulation happening anywhere at all. This is only whatever the heck the MultiMod is doing.
But it's all in what you do with the crayons.
So let's start applying a little bit of modulation. And that modulation is just coming from the spectrophone. So the mix will be fine to introduce a little bit of ambience. And then I'll introduce a little bit of modulation on the radiate. Of Q-pause here. Increase the resonance so we can hear what's happening. And I'll start to modulate the frequency as well.
One out. You want to keep things on an even keel, I guess is what I'm saying. You want to go
Moving
with the
the
flow.
time
See,
knob
refuse no river.
counterclockwise and
The
spread
idea
knob
is to
clockwise.
remain in a state of constant.
That is with the spread control all the way clockwise and the time control all the way counterclockwise. Bringing the time control clockwise through center. And the spread control counterclockwise to center. Now I'm going to put the channel 6 of Tempi back into the hole, which is a divide by 7.
What you do with a crayon, with the colors that you're giving. You make it 16 lines, coloring outside the line. What you do, color line, don't bother that you're giving. We are not coloring outside the line. So where do you want to?
And this is just the red mode of
MultiMod here.
Let's fade that down and fade back up the dry signal of
It's
said
like you come
sample.
onto this planet with
Maybe
a
we
crayon
select
box.
a different sample here. From
Now you may
Morphogene.
get the 8-pack, you may get the 16-pack,
Let's see, how about good
but it's
old
all in what you do with the crayons,
Genesis P.
the
Orange.
colors that you're given. And don't worry about drawing within the lines or coloring outside the lines. I say color outside the lines, you know what I mean? Color right off the page. Don't box me in. We're in motion to the ocean. We are not landlocked, I'll tell you that.
So where do you want out?
Is this machine recording? If it's recording, it's probably recording an imprint from my brain to your brain through the electricity between us.
Good old Genesis George. This was taken from an old Psychic TV
it's probably
interview.
recording an imprint from my brain to your brain through the electricity between us. Is this machine recording? If it's recording,
just the dry
it's probably
signal
recording
again.
an imprint from my brain.
Let's see,
to
can I
your
run
brain
one of the
through the
Moogs through
electricity
MultiMod? I
between
sure
us.
can.
Is this machine recording?
Right now, I just
if it's
have
recording,
the
it's probably recording an imprint
subharmonicon
from my
racked
brain
up and ready to
your
go. I do
brain
have
through
the
electricity
Spectravox
between us.
and Labyrinth,
Is this machine
though they're
recording?
not plugged in.
If it's
As you
recording,
can see here,
it's
hidden
probably
underneath
recording
the
an imprint from my
photosynthesis
brain
T-shirt
to your
here
brain through the electricity
is the power
between us.
supplies
Is
for
this machine
those two
recording?
Moogs. I can plug them in.
If it's recording, it's probably recording
Though
an imprint
right
from
now,
my brain to your
we'll probably
brain
go for the
through electricity
subharmonicon. Yeah, we could do
between us.
that. That sounds
Is this
like a fun
machine
idea.
recording? If it's recording, it's probably recording an
Let's see.
imprint from my brain to your
Let's
brain
just take-
through the electricity between us. Is this machine recording?
Oh, what am I
If
gonna
it's
do that?
recording, it's probably
gonna
recording
go
an
for-
imprint from my brain
Let's finish
to your
this up
brain through the electricity
with
between us.
green mode.
Is
Let's
this
see what green
machine
mode does.
recording? If it's recording,
Reset the phase.
it's probably recording an imprint from my brain
I'll go
to your brain through the electricity between
fade
us.
up
Is this
whatever the
machine
MultiMod is doing in
recording?
green mode.
If it's recording, it's probably recording an imprint from my brain.
Nice. Nice, Francisco. Got the Moog semi-modular, all of them. You said all of them? The DFAM and the Mother 32? Two? All, what is there, 5 of them? That's pretty impressive. I am impressed. MultiMod is a very bizarre module. These are the first patches that I've done with it. We're listening to my first patches with it. And I can honestly say I do not know what the heck it's doing. I watched, like probably most everybody, the Sarah Bell Reed video, the Red Means recording video, all of the Make Noise videos using it, especially the James Ziegler video. That guy's incredible. Wow, all of them. Heck yeah. All the Moog sound system. I think those are my favorite ones. They're the gateway. You know, if you rack up Moog stuff into a tip-top case, it eats up most of that HP, and you don't have to spend a crap ton of money on other modules. Of course you can, as I've done. You know, other people probably do. You might as well. But bang for the buck, I think these suckers are by far the best of the best. I have made several videos of the subharmonicon going over and over. It's features, all of the different features. It's one of those modules, I believe, the subharmonicon, that's greater, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. Heck yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, Francisco. Loving it. Love to hear that. That's what got me back into modular synthesis properly. The subharmonicon, the hydrosynth, and I had a Moog workstot. And interface some of the older videos. If you search for some of those older videos on my channel here, you can see me interfacing hydrosynth with workstot. Jeez, green mode. Some kind of reverse delay. I don't know what this is. Just for audio processing, just let me take the modulation out of the Vimeo here and kill the modulation happening in the Q-Class so we can just hear what the heck is happening with MultiMod. Spectravox and Labyrinth. Yeah, I honestly, when I got Labyrinth, I knew that was going to be something that I wanted. Pretty much immediately, the first few videos that I saw of it. Spectravox, I did not know how I was going to use it in my system, really. And it wasn't until, I can't remember who made a video of it, but somebody had a video where they had multiple envelopes going into the VCAs, and they were processing it into a way that was like a mono version of the Moog Murph. If you remember the Murph, back in the day, it was a basically a sequenced filter bank, mono to stereo thing. Really weird effect. Very unique kind of a thing. Totally discontinued. There's a software version of it that's not quite as cool as the real thing, if you ask me. And the Spectravox here can do a very weird version of the Murph. So, yeah, the MultiMod is going into Mimiphone, though right now the mix knob is all the way down on Mimiphone. We are just listening to whatever's happening with MultiMod. Morphogene into MultiMod. Just flip through some of the other modes here. We set the spread and time control. This is blue mode.
Imprint from my brain recording through the electricity between us. My brain recording.
No, that's the hold modulation that we're hearing.
From my brain to your east. It's probably recording an imprint from my brain down.
Weird. This is the mode I was talking about earlier. It's some kind of a flashing purple, light purple, dark purple mode. It's some kind of bit crusher. No clue. But it's freaking wild. That is wild. Weird module. Pink mode. Don't really hear any audio. Maybe that's, I think pink mode is the LFO mode. Pink and orange are the LFO mode. Yellow is yellow. MultiMod is going into Mimiphone. I don't know if I already answered that. And here is some of Mimiphone acting on that. Let's turn that up about halfway. Turn the halo down. Color in the middle. Mimiphone. Such a weird and lovely delay, reverb, compressor thing. Okay, what's after yellow?
Recording an imprint from my brain to your brain through the electricity between us. Is it?
Okay, that is certainly bizarro. If you know, you know. Let's see, so let's go to... Do I have the power? Can I do it? Let's see. Surely we can make that work. Let's see. And that is the power of a multiple cable. You see that? We're going out of the subharmonicon to this multiple cable into the mixer here, and as well into the MultiMod. What a cute little cable. Thank you. I really enjoy the MultiMod so far. I also just got Tempi. I don't really know how to use every one of its functions, though it seems pretty simple, I'm thinking. Not too complex, though I'm sure there's a lot to it that I'm missing. I do know mute. I have figured that one out. I'm not sure what the B button does. Maybe that's just the different state between A and B, and there's different of the different functions. I know that much. But for now, today is not a Tempi exploration. There's tons of videos exploring Tempi. There's not very many videos exploring MultiMod, so that is what we're doing now. Let's see. I've got subharmonicon plugged in. It is rare that I use subharmonicon in its intended fashion. Most of the time, the VCO2 section is piped out to a separate mixer, and that mixer goes out to its own filter VCA. It's being sequenced totally separately. I treat that second oscillator like a that second oscillator group, I guess, as a totally separate voice, create a totally separate voice with it, sequence it differently. I don't use the sequencers in the subharmonicon to sequence the subharmonicon. I use those as timbral shift sequencers for the quantizer to sequence the different note arrangements, the different scales, which is all the minor scale, just subtracting notes from it. But now I'm going to use the subharmonicon in its intended fashion. So if it sounds boo-boo, you know. Let's see. I thought that was strange. All right, there we go. That's just the... Now this is just the subharmonicon. while I get a decent figure out how these freaking sequencers work. I haven't used these sequencers to sequence the subharmonicon in probably close to 2 years now. Oh. Alright, well that sounds okay. Happy accidents. I guess that's what the intended purpose is for. Oh, hey there. Howdy, wigglers. Let's wiggle, 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 wiggle. We're all here doing the thing. And let me fade up now the MultiMod as it's being processed, or processing the subharmonicon rather, in red mode, which for now is my favorite mode to process the stuff. Let's see, fade up the MultiMod, and I'll fade down the dry signal of subharmonicon. Controls are pretty close to center. Let me start to offset them. I think my favorite for now is the spread slightly counterclockwise and the time control slightly clockwise. Let me slow the clock down. Maybe we can use... That's a good idea. We have the analog technology, baby. Clock out of subharmonicon into Tempi. Keep everything nice and locked. Look at that. Well, seems a little bit fast though, doesn't it? Thank you, Tracy. I have a kind of a different mix happening here. Hope that's a little bit better. I think definitely this red mode is my favorite mode. Definitely my favorite mode in the MultiMod for processing. Let's offset the phase just a little bit. Ooh, that is so nice. And again, I do have the mimeophone in the signal chain, though the mix is turned all the way down. All of the processing you're hearing right now is just the MultiMod. Granted, we are listening to all 8 outputs of the MultiMod. Some of them routed to the Dopifer mixer here, and some are routed to the X-Pan. Let's give a little bit of modulation via QPass. Add a little bit of resonance. Modulate the radiate controls. Modulate the mix control of mimeophone to add a little bit of controlled ambience. Woo. Man, that is wild. Gonna adjust the spread control clockwise past center just slightly on MultiMod. Yes, Tracy, I definitely know the feeling there. I wouldn't have purchased MultiMod myself if my local synth store didn't have it and Tempi just in that store. You know, it's pretty hard to resist when something's staring at you, and I guess that's the point, right? When something looks so tasty, why not? Wasn't necessarily tip-top on my list, but as I heard it do a handful of things, I knew that they were the things that were meant to be in my case. And yes, it seems that the MultiMod did somehow speed up the sequence from Subharmonicon. It seems like it's displacing the time. This time knob seems like it quite literally is taking buffered copies of the signal and manipulating them in really strange ways. Let's see, let me go back. Time control counterclockwise through center, slightly left of center. I'll shift the phase as well. Let me remove the Mamiya phone from the equation here, because lower the spread control slightly. It seems like it's actually slowing down the sequence in a weird lo-fi, hi-fi kind of way. I don't completely understand what the heck is happening, to be honest, with this one. And that's not generally the case with a lot of modules, even some of the weird esoteric modules that are in this system. Weird logic modules, precision adder, spectrophone. You know, sometimes these aren't quite intuitive all the way. MultiMod, I have no idea what you are doing. Yes, I did just buy Tempi. I didn't really think that I wanted or needed it when it came out. I was kind of mad at it for whatever reason. Maybe because I was so in love with what the Control Cell series was going to be, what I was hoping that it would be, but it seemed like that wasn't what was meant to be for Make Noise, and they developed the Tempi from it. So I didn't know how cool it could be. Now I know. It's a really cool module. I'm excited to have it, especially in this system. Right now I'm in the red mode. of MultiMod. Let's move the controls back through to center, move phase back all the way counterclockwise. I'll hit the reset button to kind of push everything back into phase, and I'll flip modes. Let's see. Oh, red to green. Here's the green mode, which is kind of like a reverse lo-fi delay. Let me fade that down, and I'll fade up the dry. Here's the dry subharmonicon sequence. Maybe slow down just a little bit. That's more subharmonicon-like. Ooh, how do I normally use X-Pan? That's an interesting question. Normally I have it with both sides of the Spectrophone for both the A and B, and I had the Morphogene going to its auxiliary inputs, and then how did I have that? Then the Morphogene went to the Q-Pass, the Q-Pass out to the auxiliary in, and the output of X-Pan into the Mimeophone. But now that I have it in this way, it makes more sense to maybe have the Morphogene go directly to the auxiliary inputs, and like I have it patched here now, to have the X-Pan go directly to the Q-Pass. As for what's going into the X-Pan, I'm not really sure right now. Let's see. We are still in the green mode of MultiMod. Let me go back and fade up the MultiMod itself, and I'll fade out the dry signal. Here's MultiMod processing the sequence. And I'll fade out the sequence. And again, that's with the controls about dead center. And I'll just adjust the time control left of center, counterclockwise. And turn the spread control counterclockwise. Bailed on X-Pan, huh? Can I ask why? Just not the one for you? Do you find something better? Sometimes these make noise modules, to me, either don't have enough control or have too much control, or the module itself maybe is too big. Something about it kind of isn't exactly what I would want, but then I kind of get over it. And I realize that I can move modules around, I can patch stuff. I don't have to get everything from a particular company. I was on the fence quite a while for the dual gate DXG. It might still go in the system, I'm not sure. With the release of this MultiMod, they have this bizarre output. Let's see, do I have a cable long enough, or am I going to have to make another one? There's this weird volt output that whenever output 1 is the highest, it outputs 1 volt. When output 8 is the highest, it outputs 8 volts. When output 5 is the highest, it outputs 5 volts. Not quite sure why that is a thing, but apparently that's going to be used in future modules based in this system of modules. So, we'll see. No, that makes sense. Most of the time I like to go to the local synth store I have here in Olympia, Washington, and buy stuff because it's there now. If there was some kind of delay with something, in fact, very recently I bought something from said synth store here in Olympia, Washington, and it didn't quite work out, so I returned it very quickly and immediately spent all that money on new modules. Let's see, let's take this control voltage out, this weird CV out, and patch it into, let's see, let's just go into VCO1. Okay, that's odd. Maybe we would have better luck with one of the sub oscillators. Huh. That is quite strange. Maybe we can go into one of these rhythm generators. Let's turn rhythm generator 4 all the way down. Plug that sucker into rhythm generator 4. That's pretty odd. Let's try putting that back in VCO1. Hey. Okay. Sorry about that. Looks like I had some kind of weird snafu. I don't know if it kicked you guys out of the stream or not. I didn't end anything, just in case. Yes, I am very lucky to have a local synthesizer store. It is a small store photosynthesis that is amazing. They have both flowers and synthesizers and candles and incense, tarot cards, all kinds of crazy things in that store, photosynthesis. They also ship stuff. So if you want to order something synthy related, you can order it from photosynthesis. Just like most stores, they will ship for free in most cases, or a nominal fee in other cases. They have quite an array of synthy stuff. They have a consignment section that's pretty darn healthy. Last time I was in, they had a smattering of ooey gooey Earthquaker Devices pedals and other such refinements. A veritable crap ton of Dopifer modular stuff. Go check it out, Photosynthesis. There's a link in the description of this video, and will be a link in the description of many videos to come for that store. That's where I buy most of my stuff. Not sponsored, but kind of, I guess. I mean, they gave me this nice t-shirt. They gave me this sweet mug. You could put liquid in it. You could put a solid in it. You don't have to put coffee in it. It could be a tea mug. I don't have any liquid or solid in it now. That's why I turned it upside down. I have a ASM Ashen Sound Machines cup as well. The makers of the veritable and venerable Hydrosynth. But right now it's filled with liquid. And I'm not going to show you that cup as it is filled with liquid, and I don't want to spill all that liquid all over this stuff. But let's go from green mode to blue mode. And let's pop back and listen to the dry signal again. I'll fade down the processed signal from MultiMod. Maybe we redo that sequence as it kind of sucks. Unpatch this weird volt per octave thing coming from the MultiMod. Sure, that works. Now let's see what that is. Oh, poop. Well, maybe we just cut this short a little bit. We're about an hour into this stream. I don't want it to be choppy and strange. Let's just cycle through some of these modes quickly. Ooh, that is weird. And moving on from blue mode, flashy purple mode. This is that bit crush mode that I don't know exactly what it's doing. I mean, I don't know exactly what the heck MultiMod is doing anyway. It seems like it's just copying the signal, and we're getting multiple things out. Yes, Francisco, you can. You can run multiple synths into Xpan. Okay, let's just cut that shenanigan off. Well, thank you very much for being here with me on this late night patch exploration. We did have a little bit of technical issues at the beginning and at the end, as the internet is wont to do. Sometimes it cuts out. The internet skips just like CDs used to skip back in the day. It's glad to know that sometimes technology comes full circle. And with that, thank you for joining me here on this Monday evening, fam. I sure do appreciate you. I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again now. You are a very sophisticated audience. Enjoy your evening. Peace.